Yo, 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 got my fingers all cracked. I have nothing else much to say, so getting into it. What if Deku was the son of Stain, Hero Killer Stain? Now, last time, Deku asked his long lost father, could he become a vigilante like him? Switching up now. Even though he has no quirk. Stain does not know how to answer this. He feels this bond with this kid that he randomly found and almost felt like he had a real connection with until he figured out it was his kid. This freaked him out. When Deku asked him, could I be like you? He didn't know how to answer. So he ran away. He dashed up the side of the wall, going side to side on the things perfectly, may I say. Freaking out some cats on the way. Deku, though, calculating where he was going, really wanted an answer on this one. So Deku dashes to the other side of the city, which he calculated that Stain would be ending up. Soon enough, 2 minutes later, trips on his face, but once he looks up from the gravel, he sees Stain in the back alley. Thank God I got rid of that kid. There you are. Come on, please. Oh, shit. Kid, do you really want to be in this life? I'll tell you what you'll earn from this life. Nothing. I don't care. I just want to protect people and show them what a hero is. Stain finally realizes that he's the one. He's definitely his kid. This is enlightening to Stain. Stain goes, you want to show and be the number one hero and show everybody what a true hero is? Is that really what you want? By now, Deku's groveling on his knees, saying, yes, of course it's what I want to be. Stain asks, no quirk? No quirk. He looks up from crying. Stain says, I do need a successor. Fine, kid. If you survive the first week, I'll let you stay. Deku's crying at this point, but he's only 6. He doesn't realize what he's gotten himself into. But he has enough drive to actually go back to his house and get packed up, ready to go to Stain. Stain, of course, tells him to meet him at the near the beach, not on the beach, on the port of the beach. Of course, the sludge villain attack goes as normal. Bakugo saved by All Might, all that shit. Now, of course, Izuku's mom is worried that he's packing up, like, all of his stuff, literally all of his stuff. Can you imagine just having to close that thing? Like, especially because he's gotten very interested in metalworks, forging, just all this stuff that he's really good at. And he packs it all up and leaves, barely carrying the bag out the door. And his mother's so worried, but he won't answer her because he's so, like, driven to, chase after his dreams. Well, this is what led Stain to helping him in the first place. Now, it's torturous getting to the beach in the first place. Once Stain's waiting on the port, of course, at the end. It's about, 2 o'clock p.m.? a.m.? a.m. 1 o'clock a.m. Pitch black, and Deku finally gets there. Stain says, you're late. You never said a time, sir. Sir, I like it. Yes, sir. Good. You're late. That means you have to get there 25 minutes earlier tomorrow. 25? You'll have to take that backpack up and down this port every single time that you come here late. I thought I was living with you. That's right. Well, then why do I have to go to the port? Too many questions. Immediately, Deku realizes to shut up and just accept the fact that he's going to have to do a lot of workouts to earn Stain's respect. Now, the first week, Stain doesn't actually want to have a successor, but he should. So he's laying it down hard. He wants this to count. He wants in his heart to believe that this will be his successor. And if he gives up, then he's not a successor. He's not a true successor. Not ever, not now. Now, first week is hellish. Constantly, he's running up and down this port with the gigantic suitcase above his backpack. And one day he tries to take it out, and Stain catches him. And Stain punishes him by making it even harder by putting more in there. But while Deku is doing this, Stain looks in the bag and sees all this creations that he made, vials and other stuff that he has wild ideas for. Like this one vial thing that when you put blood into it, it kind of mixes it up into something else. Just crazy, wild innovations that Deku's been trying to make to become a hero, but nothing works. So he passes the first week with flying colors, and Stain is taken aback by this. He has no idea what to say. I mean, he passed the test. I'm going to be stuck with this kid forever then. And Deku's like, I get to be with you forever then. You know? But yeah, so a year passes. Well, not a year, like until his next birthday. Once he turns 7. By now, Izuku's mom is straight up terrified because her child has either been stolen, kidnapped, well, those are the same things, or killed, really. She's freaking out, she's calling everywhere, but Stain is too good. He has this warehouse out in the west of the city. I'm pretty sure that's basically cleared out by that point. Now, it's easy to mix up the fact that, he's being captured by Stain instead of, kidnapped, because he was actually willingly going there. And this place it's a huge gym, but it's in this tiny storage depot and it's underground. It's kind of Stain's hideout, per se, and it's where Deku now lives as what he would call him to get him angry to continue to work out is to call him Deku. It's a good way for Stain to train him. And a lot of the first year, well, half year, is just trying to get Deku to be at least a little bit more buff. But he misjudges how driven Deku is. And by the end of that year, and by the time he turns 7, Deku, he's already like a normal fighter. Like, he can take down somebody that's 2 times his size. This is crazy, especially if you're wrestling. But he has learned nothing else except punch, kick, and maybe throw in an elbow here or there. But this gym has already been worn out because of how daily the exercises are. He has to wake up at 6 in the morning. He has to go to bed at what would be an accurate time? 8? Because Stain understands the needing of sleep. But each day he spends at least 6 hours training. It's gruesome training. And Deku's not feeling hot after a year. But on his birthday, he wakes up and he's bound in ropes. And this is his birthday test. Suddenly a knife comes out of nowhere and hits Deku in the shoulder. Not very hard though, it was thrown lightly. But he definitely winces in pain. Trying to struggle to get out of the ropes, he doesn't realize it, but there's knives coming everywhere around him, above him, below him. He can't dodge any of them. He ends up just using the chair as to block them all, and then roll to the side, breaking the chair, barely freeing himself, but then getting knocked out by Stain. He wakes up. Stain's like, not good enough. It's a shame. I definitely should have taught you how to actually fight. Oh, this is a bummer to freaking Deku. Which he calls him Deku. Which he's mad and also sad in himself. But what Stain is using this for is to drive him further. And so they continue training for about 3 other years until he becomes 10? Yeah, he becomes 10. And he's doing all these different workouts. He has a hacky sack, that it weighs almost 10 pounds that he's able to kick up in the air. And that's super hard. I mean, that's a workout for his abs and his legs. And each time he, each time that he has a birthday, I guess you can say, he becomes older. Stain adds 2 miles to his normal route with the luggage. And now, plus the luggage, he has him wear a sword of the hilt of a sword, that weighs about 300 pounds, maybe, which is insane for a human. But instead of the luggage, he gets to choose between the luggage and the hilt. And usually he carries the hilt because it's much more useful, but also the hilt of the sword weighs almost as much as all the stuff that he brought. But he had to unpack all of it. So just carrying the hilt is tiring him out every day. Plus stacks on stacks, and each year that he also, levels up. Not levels up. He becomes older. There's that test again that he had when he was 7, and he keeps getting better and better and better to the point where he's now catching knives when he turns 10. And there's some run-ins with thugs, but you guys don't want to hear about that. But Izuku's mom's given up by now. She just, she's moved on. She adopted, a kid so that she can feel better now. It's really quite sad for her. Gotta give her something to do. But, yeah, the gruesome training, I mean, the worn-out bars in the gym, the underground gym that he does, and it's just all huge. I mean, it looks like there's been 50 people in there working out the whole entire day. It always stinks of, blood and sweat, because of now he's starting to get into combat training. Once he turns 10, Stain realizes, okay, you're getting better. You think that you can fight me? And he's like, no, I don't. I think I can last against you for about maybe 2 seconds, but I don't think I can fight you. And by now he's pretty buff as a 10-year-old. I mean, come on. He doesn't look buff, but when you exercise muscles for fighting, it is much different than when your normal muscles. They're more hidden and they're inside your bones. Much different stuff, and you don't look that buff. But when you take off the shirt, I mean, there's muscles everywhere, basically. There's no getting away from that. And he starts combat training once he's 10. And this combat training includes catching knives, throwing knives, a lot of either Muay Thai or boxing and kickboxing. And he knows all of that stuff by he's 12. He's already basically mastered a lot of them. I would say kickboxing and Muay Thai, he's mastered those things because when you're younger, your legs are much bigger. So, he's gotten used to using those. But, he's also trained in swordsmanship and, more accurately, rapier usage. But the sword that he usually uses would look something like a sabre. Or saber. Well, like this. A very simple sword, but still a saber. Very deadly because of how sharp it is, and basically, by the time that he's 14, his saber usage, he could probably kill somebody in 2 swipes. So yeah, unless they're like a normal boy, well, teenager like me, he could probably take me out in like 1 swipe. A grown man, 2 swipes. He's taught in pressure points and all this stuff that I don't even think he needs to know. But Stain is locking him down. And since he's training Deku, he has no time to kill people. I mean, he's basically given up on that stuff. He's old news by now. And so, basically, once he turns 14, the final test, one of the final tests, once he turns 15, he's allowed to go out and be basically a villain sidekick, a vigilante sidekick, which is much worse than what it sounds. But, so, basically, once he wakes up and he's in the chair, he immediately knows what to do. Breaks out of the ropes before the knives even come out. Uses the chair to block all of the knives except one where he catches and listens for Stain and throws it straight at him. Almost hitting Stain, but Stain jumps behind him. He smashes the chair against him, but Stain uses it against him, pushing him back. This fight continues for about 20 minutes. I will not explain all of it, maybe in a redo later. But in the end, Stain uses a knife that was, you know, I guess, sheathed into his gut by, well, close to his gut, by Deku to hold him down and force him to give up. So that was intense, but Stain is smiling, not disappointed anymore, because he would have won if it wasn't all in darkness, because Stain works better in darkness than Deku. But Deku's getting used to darkness. He can feel around darkness. Kind of like Daredevil, but definitely not as well as Daredevil. Just listening is very much his technique now. Stain's quite proud of him. And he pats him on the back, saying, like, you know, I'm proud of you. Like, I might have to cut it a year short because, you know, you're doing great. Honestly, I don't know what else I would teach you. You already know everything. And Deku's like, really? I know everything? After all these years, I'm finally done? And Shane's like, pretty sure. So they share a moment, like a really nice moment, and where Deku accidentally calls him Dad. Like, thanks, Dad. And Stain just, like, accepts him. He's like, you're welcome. You've done great. You've improved your skills without even me trying to teach you some of them. You've done it all yourself. And it's a really nice moment. And then Stain interrupts it because he's a really bad social thing, and I would say that Deku is too. Horrible at social skills. Pulls up, and what is this? This vial that I found that's connected to the tube to this tiny little machine. And Deku takes a look at it and doesn't realize it for almost, 20 seconds until he remembers what it was. It's this quirk user. He wanted to make quirk, like take a quirk and inject it into yourself, multiplying quirks, because he was quirkless, and it was really, really important to him. But he hadn't worked on it in almost 4 years. He had been developing it until all of his studies took over. I mean, not studies. Well, under Stain, it's basically study, because you have to study the anatomy of the human body to memorize all the weak points and where exactly to hit them on the brain. Really gruesome stuff. Yikes. But yeah, it's it'll take somebody's quirk, but it doesn't work at all. So Stain tells him, this half year, take it off. Work on this thing. So he does. This mystery vial. I'm gonna have to end it there. Classes will start in about 5 minutes. All right. See you guys.